Yes, sir. My name's Zakashi, and in this video we got a new series here. I'm planning to do a lot of big things for you guys, but it's also a lot of entertainment considering that we've got this new GodTube thing in Dragon Ball Legends, but unfortunately you can't make that TV screen on your PvP ranked section unless you actually get to Godly. And I know a lot of you guys are actually very good at the game or get very good games, but just because you don't want to grind all the way to Godly, you won't be able to make it. So I've got this little series here. Nobody's ever done it before. I plan to give out some gift cards and whatnot in the future for guys that actually come top 3 or even come first. You guys can submit your games, I'll review them, and of course the top 5 that I see that are the best, I would actually allow them to actually make it to the video, and then depending on how well you do, you might get a little prize, a little gift card. So stay tapped in, man. Press that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're on this grind to 30,000 subscribers. All my social media links on the left is the YouTube channel, but we've got a Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below. But yeah, man, this is just a little introduction so you guys know what's going on with this video. I picked actually 5 of my Discord members and told them to submit a game, and we're going to be looking at them as the top 5 games for the Super Space Duel 74, the season that just passed. So enjoy this video, guys. Let's get to it.
To go even further beyond.
Alright, so first off, I got a little honourable mention just to show you what type of things I'll be looking for in a PvP game, because there's so many things that could make the game good, whether it's a comeback, destroying the enemy, the team being worse compared to your enemy, so many things. But just in this little game here, little text that you can point out, like I did a green card there to see what my opponent would do. Knew that I could strike right after that, and because I become there's no cover change that can happen, I knew that I'm ready to go ahead and actually fill my gauge. So I went ahead and destroyed all my enemies' cards, got another blue card from the gauge fill, which is very effective. At this point here, you can see I'm just floating, trying to feel out my enemy. Got them here with the PV, because at that point I knew I had no advantage and I'm type disadvantage, so you switch out, do a little rotation there. But this was also a big play, because the Cow Ken always does a green card, man. They're trying to get as many cards in, buffs and whatnot. So I knew I could go double in with the blue card there. Got a little PV, strike cards to come in, and literally just obliterated the Cow Ken fast as that. The person was like, yeah, long day. Long day. At this point, they tackled me because I had no vanish. I tried to fill it up, but honestly, they didn't believe in their tackle, so they didn't chain up a card straight away. But once they realized, they tried to, and I just had to hit him with the rush. Simple as that. Game was fast as that. Just destroyed the opponent, calculated everything. That's the type of things I'm looking for, man. Big time plays, big IQ players, having battle IQ on the field. That's what makes a game a good play. Not necessarily just destroying your opponent, but this is just one example from my case. Let's get into the top 5 now. Alright, so for the first game, number 5, we've actually got Bleed. He's up against another godly fighter, so this game had potential to actually make GodTube. I'm not sure if it did, but you can see that if you got a fight against another godly fighter, you got to tee up. But this team is not here. This game is not here simply because it was good. I'd say Bleed should have played a lot better. But just look at the opponent's team with his 2-star Future Horn at a godly level. You know this guy means business if he's brave enough to use a Future Horn at 2 stars. But what was exceptional about this game is that Bleed had a lot of damage control. I'm going to put up a counter on times where he actually applied damage control, and doing that well is actually something that does require a decent amount of battle IQ, and it should actually be recognized to a degree. So you can see there's certain points. For the majority of the game, in my opinion, the enemy had a lot more priority than Bleed did the whole game. But because Bleed's team works more well in terms of their synergy, if he gets a couple priorities, the odds of him winning the game are much higher. So him just consistently rotating in a way where it allows the enemy to not do damage is what actually kept them in the running for so long. On top of the enemy just not using their rush, but that's down to the enemy's fault. And him rotating the way he did, you're going to see at one point in the game, he actually destroys the enemy's ultimate arts using Future Horn, which is actually exceptional because an ultimate would probably kill anybody on the team. So damage control is also something that can make the game very good. It's not always something that has to be offensive, but actually how you play defensively. Maybe when you switch out at right time, timing what cards the enemy might have, because even knowing what an enemy's team is using, for example, if I'm using a fusion team, you know that you get 6 extra strike arts in most cases because the whole team is melee. So the odds of you expecting a blast art is actually very low. So you're either expecting a strike or a drop. Drop combo is something that you have to be ready for. So I commend Bleed, even though he did not play as well as he should, which is why he's actually number 5 on this list. But for the damage control perspective, a lot of other players would have actually been dead earlier than Bleed would have been with using the same team, simply because they might switch out at a wrong time, or they might opt in to take more damage, which actually allows them to just get taken out much faster. But yeah, it's not always about offenses. How you play defensively also matters, because you're not going to perfect everybody that you play, and that's just a given. But you can see here, in just one priority, Bleed's doing a lot of damage here. He's actually able to take out the enemy's endurance. He, in my opinion, should have just popped the ultimate, but he ended up getting cover changed, which was quite unfortunate. But then from here, it's a lot more offensive from Bleed. You see him doing things that are quite just rash going forward, but also just playing in a way where your opponent wouldn't expect it, considering you've been playing a certain way the whole game, can actually give you the upper hand. But yeah, man, shout out Bleed. Thank you for actually submitting a game. He's number 5 on this list. You guys can just even see the way it actually ends. Let me know if you think that he actually played good or anything that he did good. Same thing for any of the other players here. But yeah, this is number 5. We got Bleed. Here we've got number 4. We got Melly. Melly is a guy who's been on my Discord server for a minute, and honestly, one thing I have to say about him is that he is one of the most passive players I know on Dragon Ball Legends. He barely initiates attacks, so what he prides himself in, and he might not want to accept it, but most of his plays, and there's going to be a count on the screen, literally counter plays. And by what I mean by that is that he rarely initiates attacks. He will base his next move on what the enemy tries to do to him, so that he can actually get the advantage in that sense. So you can see here at the start of the game, he actually doesn't get the brightest start. On top of that, if you look at what team the enemy's using, they're using green, yellow, which is a very big counter towards the Ultra Gogeta. The green Vegeta, if he locks in that Ultra Gogeta, you're finished. Now you're not getting out of that one. But you're going to see in this gameplay, there are a lot of beautiful plays that Melly makes, countering the enemy's attacks. Like, there's a lot of back floats where he actually predicts what the enemy would do so that he can get priority, and there are a lot of instances where he actually uses my favorite method in the game, blast armor cancelling. Just to put it out there, I believe strongly, hot take, blast armor is the best mechanism in the game over every other mechanism in the game. It's so dumb, and you're going to see in these gameplays, especially closer to the end, especially in this gameplay, especially closer to the end, Melly utilizes it beautifully to actually counter his opponent. With this team, he's got Future Gohan, Ultra Gogeta, and Revive Han. I believe Future Gohan's on the leader slot, and then it's essentially a movies team, but don't quote me on that. But you see on the right, like, I'm putting out these counter plays that he's got in. He does initiate sometimes because he literally has to, but you see in some of these counter plays, like right here, he sidestepped twice. The enemy there didn't want to actually use the ultimate, and that's going to be obvious because he would only get the endurance out and wouldn't kill anybody. It would be a waste, especially when you've got Ultra Gogeta there on the sidelines. So Melly knew that he shouldn't keep sidestepping. Some people would keep going more than twice, which is crazy. One time is kind of crazy as well, but he actually caught him there. So much good things you can do countering, but of course there are instances where you have to be aggressive. But you see in this gameplay that Melly was actually able to come out with the W, provide this beautiful gameplay. There's one right here, beautiful blast armor frame trap cancel. Is so lovely to see, man. The way he's executing it deserves praise, man. But like I said, he's probably one of the most passive players I've seen. He's always going to go for the counter play, and it does work in his favor considering he gets pretty high ranked. I believe Abel sold that he was able to get actually godly by the end of the season, so shout out to him. You see in this instance, he got a very good rush by actually just waiting on what the enemy would do. Here he catches them in the frame trap. Like, he's doing so much back to back to back, which just executes good gameplay. Shout out Melly, he's number 4 on the spot. And to think that he's done all these good things and to think that he's only 4th on the list, we've got 3 more good games. You can see the rest of this game, and I'll catch you guys in the 3rd spot. Now for number 3 here, we got a man who goes by the name of I'm Trash. And I'm not gonna lie, do not underestimate the enemy's team. They are using CMZ alongside the Vegeta and Futurehan. CMZ can put you in some tricky situations, and I'm Trash handled it very, very well. I'm not going to lie. He made some plays where I literally got out of my seat and I was like, damn, like I wouldn't have made that play. There's no way I would have handled that. No way, honestly. Like, I got the good play counter on the right, and there's just so many good things that he did to actually get priority over the enemy and just have the advantage over them for the whole game. Have to commend I'm Trash, number 3 on this list. Made some amazing plays. You're gonna see it every time the counter goes up. Right here, Bates vanish by the blast, and that's because CMZ had no vanish. So he tried, you saw he tried to tap, and he tried to tap again from a different angle. If you use a blast in that position, you would not get priority because blast takes longer to load up when you're close range, but strikes go through much faster, which is why they are more effective. In that situation there, you saw G4 also try to fill up his gauge from long range, which is very, very useful because the enemies would usually think you just switch, so they might not be aggressive. But he used that to his advantage, but it was just unfortunate for the next play that he wasn't able to actually use it effectively. If he was able to refill and not use a switch, the timer counts for his whole team goes down, and you see the amazing vanish right there. Like, do you see how patient he was right there? I would not have made that play. There's no way. He waited for like the whole world to actually get that off. I would have sidestepped way earlier and got my ass handed to me. Real talk. Have to respect that patience there. Patience like that is the type of thing that has you like, you know what? He deserves it. He deserves it. But literally throughout this whole gameplay, you're going to see everything that he did well. Shout out to you, I'm Trash. You played very well, making it number 3 out of the 5 games in this video. Enjoy the rest of the videos. You're going to see this final play that he does here that I listed as a good play. More patience there with the floating. That is insane. I'm Trash. He's number 3 for this list. Number 2 here, we've actually got Monster, also goes by MX, so I'm going to be saying MX throughout this whole gameplay here. You're going to see that he actually was toying with this opponent, especially near the end of the game, which actually shows that he can have some tricks that he can just unload whenever he's ready. But you see right here, he went for the green card long range, tried to maybe see if the enemy's going to attack, but he went for the blast arts and they actually green carded him. But he's going to bring it back. You can see there with the patience caused the enemy to actually do a double sidestep to try and get the vanish, and he caught the enemy the second time. He popped the green card earlier, so the during cover change did not activate. USG Ultra Super Gold GR. Nullifying cover changes is very, very useful every time he pops a green. Here, he got baited, but don't worry about it. He's going to make it back. He's going to make it back. You're going to see right here, he went straight away. Going straight away is something I've seen a lot of high-ranked players do because it switches up the whole vibe of the game. You're thinking, what? He didn't wait now? We're not playing the patient game. Going straight away can actually get you that edge because it's very, very unexpected. Almost every time I go straight away, the enemy doesn't expect it. They're expecting like, alright, I'm going to wait for the vanish. But there's no need to wait for the vanish sometimes because everyone's playing that patient game. Let's switch up the whole tempo and catch the enemy off guard. Very, very lovely, that play there. You're going to see another nice play right here. G4, knowing his kit. You got to know your unit's kit. That's something that actually comes with your battle IQ. You're bringing units to the battlefield for a reason, so you should know what comes with them. In this case, he went for a neutral main ability, and then you can see he's popping blues like there's no tomorrow. Honestly, he went for the triple. He had three because of USG, honestly, and he popped the triple. Sometimes they expect the second one, but they didn't expect the second one because of the main ability. Then the enemy tried to go for a blue card, which was just not it. And you see that he actually saved his ultimate through using the blue cards instead of the ultimate, and this allowed him to actually kill Jiren right after. Overall, amazing gameplay. Shout out to MX, man. Made it to number 2. The plays that he provided were just clear as well, man. Have to rate it. You guys can see the rest of the plays. At the end, he got very cocky with this thing that he likes to call MX Tech. It's just a frame trap. You can see it's disgusting. But yeah, man, shout out to him. He's number 2. Alright, so for number 1 on this list, this is a guy who I've actually done a video with, who actually showed me a lot of floating, which I've provided a tutorial for on the channel. He is insane, comes from King of Games' server. You guys might know that YouTube channel. King of Games is a goated guy as well. Tempo here is amazing. He's amazing. Everything that everybody's done on this list, not to fanboy or anything, but I'm telling you the real, he's like combined everything that they do and literally overwhelmed the opponent, in the sense that no matter what they did, it kind of puts them in a position of, alright, I'm done. There's nothing else I can do to actually get the edge over my opponent. You can see here the long range main with Zakashi to get the blue card. Saw Gogeta doing a blast arts, which is quite unusual, and then he ended up actually doing a lot of damage. Right here, he's type advantage, so Ultra Gogeta ain't doing much, but he switched in Trunks here. Even switching in Trunks, I mentioned before earlier with the damage control, Tempo's applying that to actually set himself up better for the future. So when Trunks' gauge is full, he's just going to become a full menace. That's not something you can deal with. When Trunks' gauge is full and he lands that ultimate, he's killing somebody. Somebody's getting out of here. And you can see here he's got a full gauge. He's doing dirt, man. You're going to see a lot of tech from this guy in this whole gameplay. In my opinion, easily played the best out of everybody here. The enemy, just everything they did, it wouldn't have been enough even if they did a lot more. Just because Tempo's knowing of his team, using his team well, the tech that he's applied in the gameplay, perfect vanish timing, he knows all the text and when to apply it, and that just gave him the edge in this game. You'll see a few more things that he does later in the game. There's going to be one coming up right here. Overall, just insane. Shout out to Tempo, number 1 on this list. Deserves it easily, in my opinion. Probably hand him a gift card, but this is just to get the series rolling, of course, which is why I handpicked these people. But in the future, it'd be up to grabs for any of you viewers here. So this could be you right here, number 1, honestly. So take some tips, get into ranked PvP, and hopefully I might see you in a later video regarding this series, man. The PvP competitive seems to actually get a lot better, and with the GodTube and whatnot, the godly rankings, there's a lot of people that have just become much more competitive, and you can actually see that in the sense that everybody's grinding. But yeah, man, I'm gonna let this gameplay play out. I'm gonna give a quick outro. Surely you've enjoyed this video, because I've enjoyed making it, honestly.
Is that it?
But yeah, man, that's gonna wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, there's going to be gift cards given out in the future just for you guys submitting your games. You have a chance to get one from me. I want to be that platform that's giving out, helping out. I do giveaways all the time, but this is actually something that would allow people to actually go out there and actually get the best clips, best gameplays. Very interesting what people can do in certain battles, certain gameplays. You get a good gameplay and nobody gets to see it. This is your chance to put it out there, man. Press that subscribe button if you haven't already on this grind to 30,000 subscribers. All my social media links on the left is the YouTube channel, but we got a Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Zakashi, guys. I will see you guys in the next one.
Please, lend me your energy! You're through!